Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Going into part 2 of today's episode of Roleplay Far Verona, the very first ever episode of Roleplay Far Verona. In fact, in part 2. So this is the bit where we get the kind of like the revisiting to the gritty like hub of Cornucopia. This is where all of the people take their mushroom farmer money and they go and blow it on mushroom whiskey and mushroom prostitutes. So there is this like throbbing kind of like sci-fi, like techno-y like beat in the background, and it's got that, I can never remember if it's a high pass or a low pass filter on it, so you can only hear the bass like it's coming from a closed like building. So we hear this music, this like kind of throbbing music, and we fade in on this kind of gritty, like it's a workers town. It looks like a truck stop, really. Like everybody here is like covered in the fungus. A lot of people have like the sclera of their eyes is kind of gray. People definitely have mold like growing on them, like some of the workers, because maybe, I don't know, they can't afford proper like hazmat suits. So as you and your group are walking through this streets of this place, it's contrasted, all the kind of grit and the fungal snow kind of all over everything, contrasted with these brilliant, hyper bright primary color like neon Prism ads. So you walk through an enormous kind of like live Cyball ad. We see a ball like fly past you, and then a bunch of players run through you. And we see the sergeant. We see Sergeant Holtzman like waving like a hologram away from him, and he looks at the group. And I think he says to you, Jason, he's like, I hate holograms, man. And like, like looking around, and everybody, we're all brilliantly lit by these ads as you move through the streets of Cornucopia. People are giving you a pretty wide berth as you're headed there. So you have an address for a Prism network, like a hub, essentially a media hub on the moon here in Cornucopia, and you have a name. You have Lehua, a producer. What are you doing? Anything in advance, or are you just like gonna barge in there?
I think we're just going over there. I mean, we could phone ahead, I suppose, but I think we're just gonna go over there. It's more Booker style, kind of catch people off guard to see what they're, if there is anything wrong. It's kind of just like an old cop thing, you know what I mean? The best way to figure out what's going on with somebody is to come up unannounced.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And you said it's like an office, right? So it's not weird for us to like go in there.
Yeah.
No, it's like you're nobles, so you're allowed in. It's a public like corporate office. And you can definitely just show up. The law stuff is variable, like who has Prism is a very powerful, Prism's a very powerful corporation, but you're nobles and you're all friends. So yeah, as you're approaching, Riley, did you want to take a minute to like look over the albeit somewhat limited surveillance footage that you took?
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
All right. Okay. So let's have you make a notice roll.
Okay.
Notice roll.
Can
your wisdom?
I was going to say, Adam, I wanted to actually hang back and kind of give Riley like a, hey, nice drone. Like, is that one of yours? Kind of, can I be looking over her shoulder as well?
Yeah, totally. So at some point during your trip, Riley goes to look at the pad, and you notice, Jason. So you can just come up and talk to her.
Yeah, I'll just kind of be like, hey, nice job. Was that one of your own?
Oh yeah, it's just it's kind of a little thing I just jury rigged on the spot.
And like looks it over and kind of, because he kind of likes experimental like tech, so it's kind of like and like can I like cast an eye over the vid as well, like just to give a help, like kind of both of us kind of taking a look at it at the same time, see if I notice anything that she misses.
Yeah, if Riley's willing to let you, right? You walk over, like, cool, nice.
He's
iPad.
been nice to me so far. Yeah. For sure. I take this moment to also be like, I actually, use parts from another Acre drone. I use this time to mention Acre Core products.
Totally. So
okay.
Jason, you noticed on the pad, like it's clear that there's some kind of like personal surveillance operation going on, where when she says that, when she's like, oh, I actually built it on the back of another Acre drone, there's like a ping, like a rewarding sound, and a number like pops up and then disappears on the pad.
Can it sound
I'm
like
just
like coins?
Yeah, yeah, totally. It's like it's a psychologically like perfect sound for rewarding you for doing your job. Like there's a slight. We won't get too deeply into acre contracting, but there are some people who have like injectors, cybernetic injectors built in that just give them like dopamine when they say nice things about acre product. It's like a thing. They're just like, yeah, I sure do love my acre automobile. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna go buy something.
Acre. Oh.
Yeah.
I'll just raise an eyebrow at that and kind of shake my head and kind of think like, oh, goddamn acre corpse kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I go from my like normal conversational voice into my car salesman voice, and I go ahead and add on a reliable, adaptable, and affordable. And then I just like go back to being normal. Like,
yeah, but what's funny is when you say that, the hologram network of ads around you, they pick up on it. And in front of you, one of the holograms that was just like a guy in like a suit with a hat who like was in the middle of a like, honey, I'm home, like ad stops in the middle of the ad, and he turns and he looks at the two of you. And he says, "Did somebody mention Acre Corporation?" And he like throws his hat, and it like disappears. And he like the ad starts walking over.
Oh gosh!
You just had to do that, didn't you? You just Booker's like walking around.
Listen, not all of us were born nobles, okay? And I like go ahead and lean over to Jason a little bit and let him know like. Yeah, while the Viscount was busy shunning me, I went ahead and had a drone take a peek around his estate. Did you want to take a look?
Yeah, sure.
Because I don't know about you, but I felt like that guy was shady as all flark.
Yeah.
Okay. So you pull up the footage from the drone, and it's a like hologram projector drone, right? So it can show you kind of a 3D representation of the space as you move through. What are you looking for in particular?
I'm looking for what his staff was doing at the time, like what they were up to when we were in that room.
You just had it follow that guy. Okay.
Well, partially, yes, because they were covering for him. And I also wanted to look around and see, like, other than obviously we kind of know that he's in debt, but I also kind of wanted to take a look around and see, like, whether there was any signs of maybe an intrusion because he had that graffiti on his front gate and stuff like that. I'm just basically looking for anything that like any kind of disturbance that may have occurred, as well as like what his staff was up to and whether they were trying to keep an eye on us and what they were doing to maybe cover up while he had us distracted in that room. If they were doing anything behind the scenes to like cover for him.
Throwing documents in the fire, deleting hard drives.
Precisely. Yeah. Okay. Hiding people, anything like that.
Okay. So you release the drone and it floats through the hallway, tracking in on his like voice imprint, right? We can hear him like muttering to himself, and it's this little voice wave is flickering. And we get that transition thing between like we're looking at a hologram over Riley and Jason's shoulder to like the color shifts to basically like a flashback. So we're back in the estate, and it floats around the corner, like peers around the corner, and the guy. He's in what looks like an auto kitchen. There's a series of like food generator like machines, and he's got a bunch of glasses, and he's pouring water into them, and he's mumbling, like muttering to himself. He's like flarking house crooks. Come in here, try to tell me what to do. And he's pouring these glasses of water, and he says, "Where were they? Where were they last week? They're vagrants at the door. Workers' strikes. Now they show up. Now when things finally look like they're turning around." And he's like, he continues to like mumble to himself, but you can make a notice roll.
Okay.
And see if you can pick up anything more, because he's just mumbling expositorily to himself.
Mm-hmm. Do I have help on this one?
You do. Yeah.
Okay.
Jason.
Perfect. Oh, he rolled a 6. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. So he doesn't actually help you. He tries, but yeah.
Oh, that was yeah. Okay.
Or was this? Have you rolled on this to help on this one?
No, I haven't. I haven't rolled.
Oh, okay. So you roll first, Mark. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not quite sure how it all goes. And it's with wisdom, you said? for notice?
Yeah.
Okay. And there we go. Hey!
Hey. Okay. And so I get one
You get a
assist.
+1. Yep.
What?
Okay, you got 7. That's still a success. It's not a great success. So yeah, I mean, I think
I'm
from
so
his
wise though.
from his rambling, from his like mumbling to himself, yeah, you get the impression that like things from what he said, like things were bad, things were going like crappy, and that's why things are. And then he's like, no, but just now, just when things were starting to turn around, like we were finally like some, we had things were finally turning around. So for some reason, they're on the up and up. But you don't know why. Yeah, not with a 7. The rest of the house looks much like what you'd expect, right? Same as the rest of the place, and dusty. Many of the windows have been like boarded up, etc. So it's nothing that you can pick up in the 15 minutes that you had him followed. But yeah, it kind of looks like him and Viscount are like the only people that live in that house right now. Like there's nobody else. You don't see any other humans.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I just kind of turn off the feed and put the tablet back in one of my many pockets and just kind of like, I wonder what he meant by since their luck was looking up.
Yeah. What was this about worker strikes the week before? You didn't mention anything like that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, apparently he owes Prism a lot of money. I'm just wondering, I wonder where his little windfall came from.
Yeah. You seen this, Graves?
Yeah.
So you look over, and Officer Greaves is currently trying to like extricate himself from a half dozen like ads for like brothels, basically. So you see Booker surrounded by writhing hologram people trying to get his attention, like come here to the House of the Serpent, where the pleasures of the serpents are available to all. And you're just, like trying to get through this cluster of holograms.
God damn it. Just like, like kind of like shielding his, he might even just he reaches into a pocket and just like grabs some sunglasses that are just very dim, like some shades that just like keep it kind of like lower the neon glow of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess call him over and kind of tell Greaves, yeah.
You mean like
cool.
these?
Wow, damn.
Yeah.
I have like 5 different pairs of those types of glasses, but they're in a closet.
Excellent.
Next time. They're not very comfortable though.
No, everything is red.
Yeah, so you have this additional information that you all know what that there's something sneaky going on. And I think that at this point you've kind of reached the central density core of all of these ads. There is a building that in any other environment with like a little bit of sun, it would probably look really like impressive. It's quite tall, like 10 or 15 stories, made out of like dyed glass, one of these this big prism building, but it is covered on one side by a thick layer of this sludge, this kind of fog sludge, and there are holograms everywhere, just a blazing wall of holograms, and at this point, like you kind of make your way through them to the front door, and there's a hologram ad near the door that I think notices you kind of like squinting against the light, and she's just like kind of a generic looking like attractive woman figure. She says, all the hologram glare getting to you? Ad blockers only 3 creds a day. And she like holds her hand out, and there's a little like circle with a line through it, and she says, we take both Imperial credits and worker script. She's just like standing outside the door like, hey, you don't like the ads? You could buy away the ads. That's fine. And then you can walk past and get into the house. Yeah. Okay.
Just keep going,
So inside, It's much less aggressive, like blasting ads at you, and more like what you would expect the lobby of like a media company to look like. All the way around the outside are one directional. They're one directional screens. So they look like screens from this side, but outside you can't see what's going on them. And each of them is displaying a different, like there's a few that are displaying popular dramas from the sector. One of them is a Lyran like concert that's currently going on in the sector. There's a bunch of reruns of Cyball games. And in the center of it, there is a big white plastic desk with like a half dozen secretaries operating computers, and they have like headsets on.
I'll just let Greaves and Nomi take this.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're walking up to like the desk or whatever for.
Yeah, there's a central desk, and then there's a column of elevators that lead up into the rest of the building.
Okay. Is it did you I don't know if you mentioned it. Was it a man? Like are there people there? Or is it just all automated?
Yes,
kind of thing
yeah.
at this desk?
There's a group of secretaries operating at the front desk. Yeah.
Yeah. Booker approaches that,
Okay.
And what was the name of the person again? It was like a vaguely French sounding name.
Producer Lehua. Yeah, it's a
Lehua,
Hawaiian name.
Hawaiian, okay.
You don't know what Hawaii is, so
I don't know what any of that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hawaii, French. What is that?
So yeah, you have a name.
All right, walk up and introduce myself to the desk clerk.
Okay, yeah. So he's like a Nordic-looking blonde with artificially straight teeth, and he has a tattoo like under his skin on one side of like a shifting kind of gold pattern, like abstract gold pattern under his skin on one side. And he smiles at you when you walk up, and he puts his hand up, not to stop you, but to like pause what he was working on, and kind of swipes it aside. So you have his full attention, even though you can see under one pupil, there's like flickering light, like he's still looking at something, but it looks like he's paying attention to you. And he, as you walk up, he says, welcome to prison, Mr. Greaves, was it? And he looks at the rest of you. He says, "Cirrus." And he looks at you, Jason, and he says, "Principe." And then he looks at Riley, and then says nothing, and just looks away from you, like you're not even there.
I'm cleaning my nails anyway.
Yeah. And he says, "How can Prism help you today, officer?"
Need some information there. Looking for you said Officer Lehua? Is it officer? Is that the proper title?
Producer.
Yeah, producer, that's what it was.
Generic, title for people that work there.
Looking to speak with producer Lehua, I believe.
Yes, of course, officer. Producer Lehua is in the office. I see here that she's busy with meetings for the next several hours. Can I offer you some time in one of our entertainment suites? Perfectly gratis, I assure you. We have many exciting programs that you could watch while you wait.
This is a bit of a pressing matter, so I'm sure Producer Lehua would like to be very cooperative with the top priority assignment.
He nods. He says, "Yes, of course, officer. It is our strict, what would they call it? It'd be like our policy, our strict policy to cooperate with all local and regional law enforcement officers. I'm afraid I cannot change her schedule now. But if you'd like to wait, I'd like to offer you one of our entertainment suites completely free, I assure you." And he like grins, and you can see him like he's like reading a script while he talks to you.
Booker is just like this again. Yay. And next look at Nomi. Like, go ahead.
Oh my God. Okay.
Jason's just gonna watch.
Yeah.
So I step forward and I say, "We understand that the producer is busy, but I assure you this matter is very urgent and we must speak with her now. We will not be waiting. So whether you take her to us or we find our own way is up to you."
Yeah, let's have you make that roll.
Oh,
Let's
God.
see, sounds like talk to me. So yeah, make a talk roll with your charisma there.
9.
Okay. All right.
good.
So the secretary looks at you, blinks a couple of times. It looks like the producer is just finishing their meeting. You should have about 10 minutes. Please, elevator 6.
Funny
and
how
you,
that works.
you look at the elevator banks, and one of them like pulses a faint green a couple of times.
And I just give him a nod and I say, thank you, and walk away.
Yeah, and he's already returned to, answering emails and phone calls and doing all of that business.
Mhm.
Okay. Right. So we probably crossfade rather than do the whole like you get in the elevator and then we load the next screen. We just crossfade right to the office.
Oh, no elevator music?
No. The producer's office is quite nice, like certainly nicer than the Eridanis guy's house was. It's cleaner. It looks like it was transplanted here from Echo, from their planet. It is mostly like white plastic and glass. Kind of looks like an Apple store. There's a big curved desk with like a half dozen hologram displays up on it. And when you walk in, there's a woman in a fairly severely cut white suit. She's like Maori or Samoan. So she's like 4'10", 5 feet tall, like quite broad shouldered. And she has like long black hair that's in like a curled up and put on top of her head. And she's in the middle of finishing a conversation, but she waves you in and smiles. And when you walk up, she says, she gets up and I think she puts out a hand to whoever is like first nearest her desk.
Yeah, I guess I'll be there.
Yeah. Okay. So she shakes your hand. She says, Officer Greaves, welcome to the facility. What can I do for you?
Thanks for having us, slipping us into your schedule like that. I know you're probably very, very busy.
She nods. She says, Al, you know how it is. Proximity to the home office. They keep us working hard.
I'm sure they do. Booker grabs the hologram out and be like, we're here for this one. Been told that you run the surveillance networks around here, and we could really use some help with some facial recognition trying to track down this person.
She smiles and nods and she says, oh, we don't like to call it surveillance. Human observation is the preferred term.
You call it what you want. It is what it is.
And she looks and she says, is he some sort of criminal?
I don't really know. You need to know that information unless it becomes pertinent. All you need to know is we need to find them.
Of course. Do you know who this person belongs to? And she pulls up a screen. You can't see, it's blurred for privacy on your side, but she pulls up a screen and starts like moving data around.
When they say belongs to, are they saying like they're like a slave worker, or like is that
so slavery is not a thing?
It's just saying like indentured servant kind of thing.
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say the preferred term is indentured servant. I mean, like the cultural and social like structures tend to lean towards medieval like serfdom. So if this person either belongs to a noble, if they like work on the farm that noble owns, or it belongs to one of the corporates. So is like a lower level producer, a content generator for Prism, or is a like an acre operator. Like it really depends.
So this would be just like a farm worker.
Like who does their contract belong to?
Farm worker under Eridanis, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a field worker for House Eridanis, as far as we know. Seen in a marketplace within the last week or so. That's where this feed's coming from.
Okay. Let's have you make a talk roll just to see how cooperative she wants to be based on the way you're interacting with her.
Yeah. Okay.
7. Okay. So she's polite, but like everybody else can tell this, that she's doing exactly as much as she feels like she's legally required to and nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
So she pulls up some information. She flips through. You hear a positive computer sound, like a noise that indicates she's found something. And then she makes a kind of pouty face where she's like, well, this certainly is complicated. It says here that this information is proprietary and it's currently under lock by the accounting department. Without permission from them, I can't show you anything in these logs, officer.
And how do we go about getting permission from accounting?
Well, it looks like this information is under lock because of a lapse in payment, a contract close. If you're willing to wait 6 or 8 weeks, the contract should be resolved, and then you can go through the proper channels.
I don't work for House Iridonis. So that doesn't apply to this investigation. You should know that, being a smart girl you are.
And she, you can hear her forming the words before she even says them. She's like, I'm sorry, sir. I just don't think there's anything that I can do.
I think there is.
It's
And
just like
yeah,
kind of meeting her gaze. Like,
you've
you're
just
really going to
reached-
go down this line with me.
Yeah, you've just reached that, like, I'm sorry. It says in the contract, sir, there's nothing I can do.
But my question would be like I just stated I don't work for House Iridonis, so that's not applicable, you know? But she's just still stonewalling like, sorry, it's just House Iridonis.
Yeah, it's House Iridonis proprietary technology currently. Eventually the lease will lapse on it, at which point someone else could buy it from Prism. Or you could just be like, don't you jurist my diction and be like this, give me the damn files.
Yeah, you just wait to beat, and she's still holding the gaze like, sorry.
Yeah, and she's got this perfect like corporate smile, and she's just like waiting for the appropriate amount of time to be like, thank you. Now you can leave.
You really want to go down this line with me?
I'm sorry, sir. There's just nothing else I can do. Above my pay grade, you see. But if you wait the 6 to 8 weeks, the information will be up for auction, and then you could purchase it.
Purchase it. Jesus, the nerve on you people. Let me tell you how this is going to go. You're either going to cooperate with this investigation right now, or we're going to escalate it further, and you'll be in a whole heap of trouble. I don't think that will look very good on your position working with Prism. You want a note in the file, because that's what you're getting.
Can Jason kind of stand in front of the doors and kind of fold his arms like we're not going anywhere, and just kind of just
like up?
yeah,
You'd like to pull a Jason and be like, yeah, that's right. We're not leaving. I like it.
Yeah.
100%. Yes, you totally can. Okay. Is anybody else want to help out Booker with this intimidation attempt? And if so, what do you do?
The answer is yes. You do want to help Booker.
I don't think I could.
Yeah. I want to. Can I use my telepathic nudge again to try and make her feel amicable to helping us, or make her feel maybe a greater sense of fear about being intimidated?
So your let me take a look at your psychic biz here. So you've got Oracle and you've got telepathic contact. So your contact lets you read her emotions. Okay. You can't adjust them yet. But for now you can tell, you can just say like, I'm going to commit my effort or whatever to her and like figure out what she's feeling.
I see.
But yeah, you have to hone your techniques further to be able to make her feel things. I mean, you could
it's
just
still
do that
level
with
0,
your
right?
words. Yeah.
Okay.
This surveillance feed, it's from like a market camera.
Yeah.
Is it stored locally on a hard drive anywhere before it gets uploaded to the network?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's in like escrow right now because so the way that it works. Actually, let's have you make a roll to see if you know this. Make a no roll with your intelligence, because you're pondering the technology part of it where you're like,
yeah, well, I'm wondering if we go to the camera itself, or if I set up a line shunt, if there's any way I could. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you say just a raw intelligence roll?
So you can use you're gonna use, this is the no skill.
Okay.
And Though I guess if you're thinking about like how it works, you could use program too. If you're thinking about like computer networks and stuff, that works.
Okay.
too. And you'll do it with intelligence.
Intelligence.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
okay. So you can try to help me understand how you would know how to hack a Prism surveillance network. But so Prism is the abyss that if you stare into it, it stares back into you. And part of their business is maintaining like security information, right? Human observation data. They sell it internally for marketing research. They sell it to Acre. They sell it to Nobles. But basically, they just watch everything that happens all the time and then find ways to correlate that data and then build reports that they sell to people. So they can probably what happened here is that they're under contract with Eridanis for that estate and for all of their serfs to watch all of them all the time. Because if you're a serf, you ain't got no privacy. They just watch you all the time forever. However, if you don't have the money to pay for your subscription to the Netflix of spying on people, you don't get to watch it anymore. So there is a database somewhere that is containing all of that information, and all you would have to do was just get at it because it's in escrow because they could pay and get their contract back. Or what happens is if they default on the contract, then they're like, cool, we have a bunch of Eridanis surf data. Who wants to buy it? It goes up on the internet for sale.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it's still, if it's in their like data escrow, it's definitely still kicking around. And yeah, you could get access to it from the market like server.
Okay.
So that occurs to you while they're having this conversation.
Yeah. In case this woman's not cooperative.
Yeah. And so let's have Jason, let's have you roll a talk talk skill. But you're doing
Can
it
more
by
than
being
one person help on a roll?
help.
Or
Yes.
just
Yeah.
one? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So Jason is doing it by being physically imposing. So roll talk with your strength.
Yeah.
Roll talk. So like
Your strength.
Jason.
Yes!
Your muscles. Hey.
I'm the manliest pilot in the galaxy.
Right. You flex your pecs at her, and she's just like, oh, I don't know what to do. Okay. All right. And so you're being physically imposing. Nomi, what are you doing?
I step forward and I know that she can hear me, but I talk to Greaves. I like put my hand on his arm and I just say, Officer Greaves, if you would like, I can make a note in Producer Luhua's profile that she obstructed a House Crux investigation and assisted in the sheltering of a known synthetic threat.
Absolutely. Go ahead and do that.
Damn.
And I like give him
that's-
a nod.
Okay, so yeah, now you make your talk roll with charisma, Nomi, and then probably there'll be two +1s for old Booker here.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Wait, do I reroll?
What is just give me your focus. How does it?
I don't know how many
work?
times. Is there any restriction on it or whatever?
It doesn't
Which
have
one
a
is it?
restriction.
What is it called?
Diplomat. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I
a
got it
folk
here.
guy.
So you get talk as a bonus skill. You learn new languages. Reroll 1s on any skill check related to negotiation or diplomacy. This is really more like intimidation. You're not really being diplomatic.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is less that. So for some reason she's not intimidated by the threat that like, and you know why? The reason is that Prism has a hell of a legal department. So trying to come after her personally, you would bounce off of their great shield of legalese. However, you can still personally intimidate her. So that just means that Booker, you make the roll and you have one assist from Jason.
Okay, so make the talk roll with +1 assist. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, and with your charisma.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, an 8. All right. So she says, Officer, there's no need to get upset. Please stay calm.
I'm perfectly calm.
It's our policy to cooperate with any and all ongoing legal investigations. But of course, you have to understand privacy is very important to us here at the Prism Network. And of course, she means, right? Like you laugh.
When she
I
says that.
laugh out loud when she says that.
Now,
Well,
she
she
doesn't
says
mean the
that-
privacy of the people being observed. She means the privacy of the people who own the data of the observation, right? Like that's what she means. So she says, yeah, privacy is very important to the Prism Network.
Mhm.
But you got your 8, and so she says, I have the ability to allow you to observe footage here under legal jurisdiction. I'm just going to need to get you to sign a few NDAs, and you can't take any of this information outside of the building. Would that be acceptable?
She's saying any info, like I can't physically take the info out of here. Like
Yeah, like you can't make any recordings. She could let you view the tapes. Basically, this is the cop showing up and being like, let me see the security tapes. But if you're like, we're gonna take these back to the op, she's like, nah, no, these belong to us. But you can look at them. And you gotta sign some documents.
Okay.
I'm gonna nudge Officer Greaves.
No, you're thinking exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So she puts her hand up and she says, if the group of you need a moment to discuss it, I understand these kinds of legal dealings may be outside of your understanding. Please take all the time you need. I'll just be over here answering some emails. And she like goes back over her desk and she sits down.
Yeah. All right. Well, we didn't need to talk when she already moved away, but
Yeah. She's just like, I'm gonna leave you to have some privacy if you need a minute. And like, but really, she's just like,
I don't even think it gets to that point. If we can,
okay.
She's like about to move away. At that point, I've already made a little like my hands are down below, and I made this motion towards Riley, like who would know, like, hey, like it's like a little like I'm doing this, like spool it up, record it.
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah, totally.
So I was like,
Sure, sounds great. Bring up the files.
So she on her desk, she four like stools basically like come up out of the floor on the other side of her desk, and she gestures. She says, "Please have a seat." And she puts her hand to like her temple to activate like an implant, and she says, "Johnson, can you?" Yes, that's right. We're going to need 4 of them. Thank you. It's just standard stuff. And she looks back at you and she says, "My assistant will be up in just a moment with the paperwork for you." And so there's a minute of just kind of awkwardly, like she's just like awkwardly smiling at you, like,
yeah,
everything's great.
As she's doing that, Booker's just like,
How long you worked with Prism?
She
awkward small talk.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh well, my entire adult life, really. I was born on Echo. It's nice to be so close to home. I can visit the family, for holidays."
Do that often, do you?
Not as often as I should.
Right, of course.
So, just awkwardly staring across the desk at each other. There's this
eyeball game.
right? Yeah, and she's like, yeah, I don't have a lot of time. That's how it is when you're a producer. You make and you make and you build and you build and you just don't have all that much time to consume. But I hear this is it's a big year for the
that last one was a clincher.
So the door opens and her assistant comes in with a tablet, hands it to her. She thanks him. He leaves and she says, "So I'll just." Very basic. I just need to have you sign these, and in front of you, holographic projections of like blocks of size 2 font text appear. And she says, "Thumbprint, any biological signature will be fine. Just the whole desk is a writing surface, please." It just says that anything that you learn from this information, you will only use in pursuit of justice, and that none of this will be used for sale, for resale, anything that would devalue the human observation data that we have gathered here at Prism, and that none of this can leave, which means, and she looks at you, Riley, she says, no one can record what you see here today. And there's the unstated like cyborg.
Would I, before we sign this, would I know, is it within the realm of possibility with Riley's like kit and whatnot to be able to just like scan through this document before we, like pick up keywords, phrases, things like that would be perhaps,
someone
Make
could
sure we're
make
not
an
like signing
administer
our lives away,
someone could make
Yeah.
someone can make an administer test and use that to figure out.
I don't think any of us have that.
I do actually.
Riley is,
nice.
yeah.
Sweet.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, and since I work at
Handle
Acre,
paperwork.
I assume I'm pretty good at like I've read a lot of these types of contracts. I've probably
Yeah,
signed my
stories,
life
yeah.
away a couple
Well,
times, convinced
what's
other
funny-
people to sign their lives away. So
Well, what's funny is that a Prism contract is like long and complex and nested, and an Acre contract is just like, we own your ass. It's just
Yeah,
like,
right.
no, you are ours now. But yeah, you absolutely have lots of experience reading these things and being processed in this way. So yeah, go ahead and make an administer test with your intelligence.
okay. I hit
Come on,
submit and
Riley.
nothing happened.
No, you got
Yeah,
it.
you
There
did.
we go.
You got a 9.
Pretty all right.
Okay. So like, yeah, obviously this is the kind of thing that sends a bit of a shiver up your legally oriented spine, where you're like, I should probably get a lawyer to look at this. We don't have time. The
Mhm.
worst of it that you can tell on a cursory glance is that you would be signing up for like a bunch of email lists that you'd have to later go and unsubscribe from.
Okay.
Basically.
I'll just warn everyone to hit the opt-out boxes in the optional at the
Or use a
bottom.
bogus
Oh, I
email.
didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Ah,
Well, it's
That's
built in.
another
It's
one.
built into your like biosignature, and yeah, they're like they're nested, and they're written in such a way where it's like, if you don't disagree, please don't not click here. You're like, F, I guess. I don't. Oh no. So yeah, you can negotiate this. She politely sort of turns away while you do the awkward thing. It's like watching someone eat. You don't watch someone read a contract you gave them.
Yeah.
And
right.
so yeah, you can navigate it without getting too tangled up. There's nothing in here that basically just says,
Okay.
like, do the thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you're okay.
okay.
All right. Yeah. So you finish with these documents. They shuffle and return to her system, and she says, "Good, excellent. Well, see, if we all just take our time and are patient, everybody gets what they want." And she says, "This way, please." And she leaves. She walks out of her office. You can hear her plastic heels clicking on the semi-glowing floor. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So
Following.
you're in a room, and it's somewhere else in the Prism building, and this is a storage facility for information. There is all around you. The walls are this faint glowing blue of like optical data chips. So just like thousands of them make up the walls, and there are a few other people in here, mostly in like researcher outfits. So they've got like lab coats essentially with ID badges, and they're like retrieving things from this archive. And she leads you in, and she says, I think there it is. And one of them is like blinking. She walks over, she reaches up, and she has like perfectly manicured, like glowing nails, and they all have the like Prism like logo, the little diamond, like glittering on them. And she plucks the data chip out and slots it into a holographic reader. And she gestures and she says, "This system should give you access to all of the surveillance data surrounding the record you showed us. Please take your time. I'll just be over there." And she gestures to another terminal nearby, which she then walks over to.
Okay,
So yeah, you have this hologram projector terminal. You can rewind, fast forward, look for different viewpoints. You can operate it to try to figure it out. What do you do?
Yeah, I want to try to sync up with where our little video of the loop of them in the market, and then try to establish different trajectories, different viewpoints, check out the different angles, and then follow them and see where they go. Track them as long as the surveillance system will track them.
Okay, yeah, this is very much not your area of expertise. Like you know that people can do this, but you are not the kind of person who is.
So I probably
capable
just
of
turn
this.
to Riley and go like, "Riley, this is what I want." And then
Do the thing.
Can I crack my knuckles and get to work?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What are you looking for? You tell me what, if you
Um,
succeed, what will you get? And then we'll have your roll.
Well, I'm going to try for two things if possible. I would like to sort of hook up Officer Greaves' data pad, like in a way to the system to maybe create like a ghost file or like a direct stream of it so that he could record it locally and have it for later, if possible. I'd like to basically bug the system. And then on top of that,
do that thing that you very specifically just agreed not to do.
That's okay. It's only illegal if they don't find out. Yeah. Plus, an officer told me to do it, so technically, isn't it illegal to not listen to him?
Right. Well, the thing is, you don't actually have any rights, so it's fine.
This is true.
Yeah. So you basically have two tasks ahead of you. Now you can try to do both of them, which will result in this being more difficult, or you can just do one of them and get the answers you want. So what Officer Greaves wants you to do is figure out like where this guy is. Try to physically like locate him. Use the information in front of you to chart a path and figure out where this guy went. You also, if you want to like copy that data while you're doing it, it'll just make the difficulty higher.
Oh, in that case, we'll probably just pass on that for now because I think it's more important to get the information.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So make a program roll. So it's like operating computers and what have you.
Almost accidentally rolled that with strength. That would have been bad.
Oh, you just ripped the computer out of the wall. Holy shit. You're a master.
Nice.
So what does this look like? Is this the like casual practiced ease of a super hacker, or do you have to like concentrate and shut everybody out? Like what?
It's gonna be a couple of keystrokes. So yeah. I tap into sort of like my existing knowledge of working with these interfaces, since that's kind of what I do for a profession. And I use I basically begin a query using the visual data we have to try to search within the visual data they have for a match. And then using that information to like sort of fast track to only the pertinent data, since we've got way too much information in front of us. Like I'll accelerate the process like by just like, restricting the information we're looking at to a visual feed that just has that sort of hologram in it. And then from there, I'd like to just like queue up that video and show it to Officer Greaves. And because I don't want to try to draw any conclusions because that's not my expertise, I'm just going to get the pertinent visual data and give it to Officer Greaves so he can look at it and then from there ascertain where this person went.
Right.
If that makes sense. I don't know if that made sense.
Completely. No, that makes total sense. Yeah. Okay. So you're able to pull up who this person is. So you correlate, you get enough shots of his face. So first you have to track him because this first shot was like the side of his head and like it's fine. He just moves around. But you're able to track when he entered the market. You get a whole bunch of different cameras that run a feed of like several hours of his time in the market and where he stopped and where he like picked up supplies. It looks like he's just buying groceries. Like he's trading in acre like script in exchange for like he buys some vat meat and he buys like some spices, and it looks like he's just like buying groceries, which means he's either paid well enough that he can afford like non-protein goo like food, or he's like planning a special like meal or something. So you see that, and then because you're able to get a bunch of different angles on him, you can bring up a personnel file. So yeah, so the personnel file tells you that the person you're looking at is his name is Dexter Chow. He is a farm, like a microprotein equipment operator, an engineer. He was hired several months ago by one of the microprotein like factories that belongs to the Viscount Eridanus. And yeah, his job is to operate and fix the machines that make the mycoprotein, that turn the goo into like edible protein stuff. And yeah, you have his like employee record. You also have his address. So he's on the list as being, he doesn't live in one of the acre like dormitories. He lives in Cornucopia. He has an apartment that he lives at. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, in one of those big, like, brutalist cell block looking, like, apartment buildings.
Okay.
Good job, Riley.
Yeah, right? Like, you got a pretty
amazing.
No.
I just kind of like kick my feet back, feeling pretty good about myself, and motion to Officer Greaves, and I say, there you go, boss. Everything you wanted. We got the guy cold.
Great job, Riley. And people talk down to you.
I know, right?
Yes. All right. Well then,
Greaves like kind of looks at the, you know, like the producer. Like,
seems like we got what we needed. Appreciate the cooperation.
just say anything.
Yeah. So as you walk up to you're like walking out. You're talking to the producer as you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. She smiles and she says, "Well, I'm glad you found what you were looking for. See, that wasn't so hard. Now, if there isn't anything else, I'm afraid I have an important meeting to attend, and I can't leave the lot of you down here by yourselves."
I understand.
Please.
Very, very busy. Lots of things to produce.
She nods and she says, "The world runs on content." And as you get into the elevator, she says, "Now that I have your comm IDs, I've made a point of beaming you some coupons. So if you ever need to visit any of the Prism relaxation facilities, either on this planet or any of the other Imperial worlds, you can do so for free on your first visit. I hope you will. They're very relaxing."
Booker gives her like
Appreciate it.
I'm just gonna reach up and be like, "Gosh, why isn't my ad blocker working?" Just kind of roll my eyes at her and walk away.
Yeah, she scowls at you like, "Shut up. You don't even have any money anyway." She's trying to impress your rich friends, not you, jerk. Yeah, and so you're back out in the lobby, and then on your way out into the town. And where were your cops, your like troops, while you were doing all this? Were they just you make them wait in the lobby?
They were either in the lobby or outside, probably in the lobby just to not have too much interest be, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So you come back and
you have them outside, then people outside and they're going to be like, why are there so many cops there? You know?
Yeah. Sergeant Holtzman comes up to you as you're leaving, and he says, "So we find the guy or what, sir?"
I don't know, Riley. Did we find the guy?
Oh, we found him. Found everything. We've got an address. We've got who he belongs to. All of his personnel files.
We know how many cavities he's had.
Mm-hmm. We know what produce he buys and that he loves Brussels sprouts.
And and the soldiers all look at you and they're like a synth loves Brussels sprouts? Weird, gross. The synth part. I love Brussels sprouts. And they're like, "Well, all right, let's go."
Like, jeez, the joke.
Yeah. and Holtzman's like, "Well, all right, sir. Why don't we go and bust this skin job?"
Yeah, I'm not sure we want to just go right in there and bust them up. Probably a little more tact than that. If we need you guys, then great, but we don't want to be having some undue attention to what we're up to.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we're locked and loaded, so just let us know when you need us. And he's like, you catch a little bit of this, like, what the fuck are we even doing here, man?
This is
You're here. Yeah, Booker
catches that and is like,
you're here in case we need you. Hopefully, they'll comply. More than likely, they won't. And then we'll need you. All right, we'll bring you in, big guy.
One of the other officers is like, "Ooh, I love a non-compliant synth," and they all kind of chuckle at each other.
While Booker was chatting to the soldiers, could I just quickly grab the producer and just kind of be like, "Hey, these coupons, are these transferable, or is it just for me only? Can I give these to someone?" Or
she says, "Oh, I'm sorry. The codes are directly attached to the information that you gave me in the contract. You see, we like everyone to have a personal experience. I suppose you could give them to someone else, but unless they like all of the exact same things you do, they might not have the same kind of enjoyment that they would if we were able to build a personality profile for them."
Oh, Fair enough. Yeah, I just wanted to send one off to Mum, but never mind. So, all right, thanks. And just kind of top back over to the group.
Yeah,
like, they were doing soldier stuff. I'm not interested in soldier stuff. So
yeah, like if you were to send your coupon to your old mom back home, and she went into one of these things, she'd end up like piloting a giant robot in battle.
yeah,
Which I don't know. Maybe your mom's into that shit.
Yeah,
That's
maybe,
cool, too.
maybe.
Yeah.
Booker brings up his pad and is just like, let's see where they are. Where exactly are they at in relation to where we are? The address that we were.
It's, everything around here is like quick and easy to get to. The apartment is in one of the employee like blocks, and yeah, it wouldn't take more than an hour to get there.
All right, then yeah, we're gonna head out that way. Try to keep a low profile. I mean, it's hard to do that with a bunch of soldiers and whatnot, but we're not like running. We're not like super hurried or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you get there like to the block in question. So it's this like enormous, like when I say it's a block, it's literally like a city block, like an arcology of very closely knit little like individual buildings, and I think, or of rooms in this building, and I think that they're modular. Like when you come over, there is a like a construction drone that is removing one, like just sliding it out like a cargo container and putting it on a like a essentially a truck. It doesn't have wheels, but like to move it to another block so that if somebody gets moved, they just take them in their whole life and are like, cool, you work at this factory now, and just move them over there. So yeah, it's this massive, highly like tightly clustered thing, and there's no ads. It's just like a big gray concrete thing, and then there's the entrance. It has started to rain, so when you get here, there is this kind of warm like moisture that has gathered in the air, and now there's rain, and the fuzz of the mycoprotein snow is turning into like goo, basically turning into like slush. Yeah, kind of snot consistency.
That's great.
Puddles of it on the ground. Yeah,
and made the right face.
Yeah. So this is where you arrive here, and it doesn't have like this building. Probably, I think it probably has like a name that's been like worn off by weather. It's got an identifier, like it's like like residence block 27564, but it's named the Clark Building, and you just see that in like faded letters out front.
Okay. As far as what we know about the synth from Booker's standpoint, is it really just like, hey, this is the synth, this is what they said? They didn't give any like details on like maybe where they've come from or what sort of skill set or background they might have had prior to being where they're at now?
Yeah, all you know is that there is this database that Cygnus originally created that recorded the birth, the creation of every synthetic life form they ever made. And this particular synthetic life form, 665A-22X, was constructed to operate farming equipment. And then that is what it is returned to doing. And as for when it went missing or where it was used or anything before that, you don't have that. It's not really relevant information. You just got to go and make it stop being.
Right. And I guess you can either, this might be a question that can be filled in by me, but I want to put it past it. Like with previous jobs similar to this, retiring synths and stuff, is it common practice to obtain them first, I would think, and then move them out and then retire them, or depending on cooperation levels and stuff? Or is it?
Yeah, I mean, you want to do it in a way that doesn't cause collateral damage. That's all.
Right, exactly. Just to not have so much attention drawn to this. I don't want it to be a news story.
On the other hand, like retiring an illegal synthetic looks good because it's like, yeah, we're doing it. House Crux doing the job.
True.
Right?
Yeah. It's just trying to minimize collateral damage from everything else in the area.
Yeah, you just don't want to like accidentally blow up any property that belongs to anyone important.
Okay. There's no like taking a synth in to like interrogate them or anything. Is that a thing? Or do you just like shoot on site?
Yeah, occasionally you'll get an order that's like, we think this synth could lead us to other synths, in which case you'll be told like, don't kill it, bring it back for like deprogramming. Like we'll bring it back to have it decommissioned, which is to say like tortured and taken apart. But in this case, it's just like, here's one on the list, go get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, then we're gonna head off to or we're already at that block, right?
Yeah, you're outside.
Is there much security system that we have to worry about to override, or is it pretty much open, or is it
No,
badge
I don't
or
think
just
so.
open it up?
Like you're a noble. You can just come and go as you please in here. Yeah, you walk in, and the center of the building is like an open kind of column. It's closed on top, so the rain doesn't get in right now. But there is this gray light that kind of comes down into the middle, and there's a sort of informal, like not a market, but a gathering area in the center, and then these rings all the way around the outside where everybody lives. So you have an apartment number and all of that. And when you walk in, you get lots of looks, right? You get people like, and these are people these are serfs, right? So they look at you, they don't make eye contact, they look down. They're like, oh, it's a noble, never mind, I'm not here, I'm invisible. And they range in age from children to the elderly, in various states of health. It's probably the end of a shift, so most of the able-bodied like adults are out working in the factories. So mainly what you're seeing here are people who are too sick to work. I think you see somebody as you walk by, there's somebody leaned up against a building with like a sign, a flickering like hollow sign that's like gray rot, please help. And they're missing like both arms from the elbows down, and they have like weird gray like lines in their skin. There's some like kids around like playing, and then probably the elder generation who's too old to work taking care of those kids, while the kids like ramp up to being able to work in these factories.
Yeah. All right, then as we're getting close to I guess as we're in the lobby, Booker, signals to gather everybody around and just starts to kind of lay down the plan. Like,
listen, this should be pretty straightforward and easy. Just reiterating, we're here to retire them, take them out. I don't expect anything too harmful in the way of resistance or too great. We'll bring you guys with signals to the troops. Like, we'll bring you guys with in case we need it. We're going to be quiet. We're going to be quick, and we're going to be efficient. That sound good? Everybody on the page?
Yeah.
Right,
so
then,
the soldiers all like look at each other, and they've like got their helmets on now. So is it your intent that you want to go in first and check it out, or is this a like a bang and clear operation where you're gonna like bust the door down?
I think he's gonna go in with the others, and then maybe a couple of the extra soldiers. The intent is to like talk to him, be like, "This is what we're here for," like kind of thing. Like, "Hey, I want to." Essentially, obviously this is very Blade Runner-y kind of what we're doing here, but like, hey, and if they want to make it hard, then it's going to be hard. It can be painful, It can be bad, or it can be what it is.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so you have to go you get into one of the elevators and head up to the like 86th floor or whatever, and you come out onto a plank, like a walkway that leads all the way around. And there's no hollow ads in here, but there are a bunch of older analog ads that have been spray painted over and over and over. So there's like just layers, like thick layers of graffiti on everything. And there are all of these plastic doors with little kind of gray transparent windows on them, and they all have numbers glowing above them, little neon numbers. And you're walking down the path toward this. Some of them are open. And so you can hear people talking. You hear the sound of conversations and languages maybe you don't speak. You can hear, not Nomi. Nomi speaks all the languages. But you can hear people listening to sideball games and like TV shows inside. And as you get closer, you notice that the room that you're headed to, I think it's like habitation 247 on this floor. The door's open as you get closer to it.
Open as in like the door is open, physically open?
Yeah,
or
they slide in and out. So it's not just like open a little, but it's like it's slid open. And you can hear, I think as you get closer, you hear music. It's some kind of like Bhangra derived like music, and someone is like humming along to it, like a higher pitched like voice. Someone is humming to themselves inside along to this song.
Can I use my 1 minute precog to like determine what reaction he's going to have when we introduce ourselves or when we show up at the door?
Yeah. Okay, so what does this look like? when you see a few moments into the future?
I think this is maybe more noticeable because it's actually like going into the like seeing into the future. So this would be a more noticeable like physical change that I would think maybe like my eyes go like completely white as though it's like a blind person, you know, because I'm not seeing in front of me anymore, but I'm seeing something else.
Yeah, you're seeing another timeline ahead of you. You're gonna Doctor Strange this shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, your eyes kind of like glaze over in the special serpent's way, and you look forward into the future. So let's read the precog. Let's see what the actual ability like just how it's described. So Oracle gives you an intuitive understanding of your own future. It requires an action and that you commit effort. So you use this and it's going to cut you off from using your other power because you just have the one effort. So you commit effort to this, and then you'll have to wait until tomorrow to be able to use either of your powers again. So mark your effort is used. You get a brief single vision related to a question about the future that you're asking. So what is the question? It's what will happen if we go in there right now?
Yeah, like what is his reaction going to be once he sees us?
Okay. So I guess who would be when I describe this, who would be the first person that would go in? Like who would be the person they would see when you do that?
I think
one of the soldiers, or
it'd probably be the soldier, a couple of the soldiers first, followed by Booker right behind them, and then whoever else the others, you know.
I think I'd probably stay outside with Nomi, and I don't know if Riley would go in or not.
Yeah.
Okay. There would be some of them that establish a perimeter, like around, you know, the entrance and exits, I guess, which there's only one that we know of. So.
Yeah. So we see Booker and maybe Sergeant Holtzman and another one of the soldiers like come in through the open door. The soldiers, weapons drawn, but not like pointing them around, but keeping Booker covered. Do you have your like laser pistol in your hand, Booker, or are you just walking? Okay, so you come in. We see this in kind of slowed down motion. There is a woman. You hear a woman scream, and we see Booker and the group. And there's a woman standing at a little prefab stove unit, making Brussels sprouts in a big transparent like unit, and she's stirring them. And there's a radio sitting nearby playing that music. And she screams when you bust into her house. And she turns, and we see the Brussels sprouts tip as she like pulls them off the counter by accident, and the big glass thing falls and shatters on the ground. And that's what you see. And then we rewind back to Nomi and your eyes clear.
Okay.
One quick question. Would we have done... Go on, sorry.
Well, but that's not him reacting. That's the other woman reacting, right?
That's what happens if you go... That's what happens if you go into that building. Yeah, or into that house. He's not there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just one room. So that's the entirety of the room. Yeah.
Okay.
She's basically ascertained
so he's not in there at all.
That's correct. Yeah. That is what you see when everyone goes into the room about 60 seconds from now.
Okay.
Have we done any missions with Anne that we would have seen you do that before, like the precog, like the eyes go white kind of thing? Or is that probably going to be maybe some of our first time seeing it?
No, I think if we're like kind of establishing that we've worked together in the past.
Yeah, I feel like we know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So, and I guess I like return to current timeline. And maybe, I don't know if Booker like noticed.
Yeah, I probably noticed and just like looked at you and gave you, what'd you see?
He isn't there. I say it kind of like stutteringly because I'm like going from future time to like current is weird. And I like blink a couple of times and I just say, the synth. There's a woman, but the synth that we are after, he's not there.
You're sure about that?
I am. The woman is non-aggressive. We could go in anyway.
And what time of day is it?
That's a complicated question on this weird moon planet. I mean,
From what Booker knows of like the work cycle for the farmer, workers and stuff like that.
That's how we do it. They track. So I think if you look, probably like hovering in the center of the empty column is like their equivalent of a clock. It's really just a countdown until the next shift. So yeah, I think you're part way through, like 3/4 of the way through the current shift. The next shift will start in a few hours.
Okay, so logical assume that he's on shift right now, potentially.
Yeah, it could be.
What was he was buying groceries. What time frame was he buying groceries?
I don't think you had a like a specific time on that. Though I guess you did roll really well on the thing. He would have been buying it during, because basically the day is broken down into a series of
I'm just saying in relation,
like
obviously
shifts.
to now.
Yeah. I mean, hard to say really. Like it was during like second shift, and it's probably partway through third shift now. But that was a while ago.
Okay. So it's reasonable to assume that he's potentially on a shift.
Yeah, it could be working.
All right. Booker takes a second to think about it. No, there's no need to go in there and startle someone we're not interested in. Just make things harder and more complicated. I think we'll set up here and stake it out. Have a couple of you guys positioned out towards the entrance. Try to be as he says it like this as if it's really possible. Nonchalant and non-suspicious as you can be. And we'll see if we can...
The SWAT team looks at each other like, I mean...
Yeah, they're going to be... I mean, yeah, they're going to be... Booker will give them instructions about, exactly where to position and, what to do. How trained is this group? Is this the first group that they've, how much experience does this particular crop of soldier have?
I don't know that they have a ton of experience, but they're well trained. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they're going to be, out of sight mainly, but in any, whatever's the best place, like corners and behind things and whatever, just kind of post it up looking. And then everybody else is just gonna, blend in as best they can.
We're in a hallway, right? So if we let him into the hallway and then we're on either side of the hallway, he can't get out.
Yeah. Well,
it's sort of structured like here, I'll do a terrible atom drawing on the map. So it's like a donut kind of. Let me get a shape here. Everybody get ready for some cool polygons. So it's shaped like this, but more square. And then the inside is sort of circular. Oh God, I'm so bad at drawing. So this is like an empty area. And then this around that is like a walkway, basically. And so the housing units are all on the outside. So they'll have one window. So they're all like out there. Freehand this shit. So they're all like around the outside like this. Etc. Looks like a big hairy square donut. And then the elevators are around the outside in the middle. There's 4 blocks. So if someone were coming up, they would come up in an elevator and then use the walkway to go to like wherever. So they would just like come up here and then go into their house.
And they'd have to come in on the ground floor through the lobby, right?
Correct. I mean, unless they like repelled from the ceiling, that would be the only way. Yeah.
That's kind of why I'm saying we're gonna position down below in the lobby. As well, first we're gonna scout to see if there's any other entrances and things like that. Basically, just secure perimeter, find out entrances and exits, and then if it seems like the point of entrance is going to be the lobby, and there's no other ones that we suspect, that's what we're doing. We're going to stake out in the lobby and spread out a little bit, but cover all angles and viewpoints and things like that. So once we do spot them, then we pounce.
Okay. All right. So you 4, know me with a costume change, but the 4 of you should be able to like hide out relatively easy. These guys are in uniform. Your soldiers in uniform. Where do you want them to be?
So I guess the question would be, is there any spot in the lobby that would be in just corners that are immediately out of sight, you know what I mean, for somebody that's walking in, or even just like a slight office that could be used or something like that, something where
I don't think there's anywhere inside you could go, but you could try to make yourself scarce.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. The idea is that we'll have so many eyes on the entrances that we'll ping him and see him and identify him quickly. All right. And then we'll so
let's figure out where everybody is individually. So the plan is you want to wait by the entrance and keep an eye on this common area, like watch all the elevators to see when the suspect returns, if this is indeed his home.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And also Booker's going to make a point to Riley and be like, Riley, now might be a good time to use one of your
fancy drones outside for surveillance to see if we get a heads up on the guy.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'll deploy the peeping Tom. It's the pinnacle of Acre technology.
Of Acre technology, yeah. Just do it.
Bing.
Delicious loyalty points.
That's right. You get to turn in those loyalty points for personhood, I guess, later.
I love like the fade
That's
every
so
time it happens.
So so you bust out your kit and you go to start setting that up. Where Jason, where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna be during all this?
Is it still raining outside?
It is, yeah.
I don't want to go out there then. I guess like maybe I'll like find a step or something like that, like a little somewhere where I can just kind of sit down. And I'm pretty good at, I think he's kind of knows that he's got like a good awareness from like the test pilot stuff. So he'll try and position himself so he can keep a good eye on the front door. But like maybe pull out like a little compad and flip through some manuals or like some books or something like that. But keep a kind of one eye on the entryway.
Okay. Yeah. So you're going to just try to like blend in. Okay.
Yeah. Like he's just going to sit down. Like he looks like a pilot, like maybe waiting for, a ship to come in or something like that. Like, he's just killing time.
Okay, cool. And then Nomi, what are you gonna do? Where are you gonna be when you hide out?
So I'm not like really a combat person, so I'm kind of just like staying out of the way of everyone else, and wherever the guy's gonna come in or wherever we expect the like synth to arrive from, gonna be out of the way.
Yeah, you're gonna stay away from wherever he might end up being.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So everybody kind of like spreads out. Let's see. Let's have everybody roll. And we're gonna roll stealth to like hide out. And if you can get 7 or better, then you're gonna add 1. And if you fail, if you get less than 7, you're gonna subtract 1. And whatever the total modifier is, that'll be what your operator here. That's what Booker needs to roll.
Okay.
Yeah. So everybody except Max, roll stealth with your dexterity. And then I'll roll sort of generically for
9 for me.
For the soldiers.
You said stealth?
Sneak,
Is that a skill?
It's sneak. Yeah, sneak. Sorry, yeah. We'll get used
soldiers.
to the list.
Damn it,
Yeah, they're not great at not being.
Not too great.
They're in like full gear and stuff, right? So
Everybody else is doing
I mean,
great.
it makes sense. It makes sense though. They're soldiers. I didn't expect them to be too stealthy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's +3, but -1. Okay, so you have a +2 on this. So you make a sneak roll, Booker. And then I will.
What's the bonus? Is there any bonus with this or no?
There is, yeah. You get +2.
And sneak is under. What's the attribute that goes with that?
Oh, it's dexterity. Yeah.
Dex. Okay. What's the assisted modifier?
Actually, you know what? You're not rolling sneak. You're rolling lead because you're
That makes sense.
orchestrating
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
You're not actually hiding yourself. You're hiding them. You're telling them what to do.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No,
that makes more sense.
I wish I was rolling sneak because I don't have.
And you're rolling
a
lead.
-1
You're
in
rolling
that.
lead with charisma, but you have a plus. You have a +2.
Lead charisma +2. Yeah. Perfect. Oop. Hey.
Whoa.
Wow.
Nice.
Look at this guy.
Awesome.
This isn't my
Great
first
shirt.
rodeo.
You're the manager of reason. Okay. So you blend in. This isn't about like cloaking field activate. Like you're just around. And actually in this way, Riley has the easiest time because there's lots of indentured acre folk around here. So you have a fairly easy time blending in. Everybody else has to kind of like make up for it. But while you're waiting, so an hour passes. But this is what stakeouts are like. Time passes. And I think at one point, Jason, you're sitting like on a upturned like acre, essentially like a product drop pod box that someone has like dragged in here. Probably contained some kind of like habitation machinery at one point. You're sitting on the outside of this big metal box, like looking at your data pad, and a like rubber like ball rolls over and bounces off your foot. And when you look up, there's a couple of grubby looking children of indeterminate gender looking at you like. And they look at the ball by your foot, and they look at you. Like,
I'm gonna reach down. I pick up the ball, and can basically. I know this guy is going to be coming in the main entrance, and I can see where all of the soldiers and stuff are. Like I know where they're positioned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I basically throw the ball pretty hard, like into the where everybody isn't? I want to throw it away from like where I think action's going to kick off.
Yeah.
And just basically, totally. and when I do it, I'm just like, get out of here, and I just like throw it over that way, kind of thing.
Yeah. So you reach down to pick it up, and one of the kids is like makes a little like, no, that's mine, like noise, and like reaches for it, and you see that on the back of their arm, like running up the length of their forearm, is like a big long like barcode like tattoo, like and then you throw it away, and they're like, hell, and like, run after it, and and they
get them away.
Yeah, they clear away from you. They run off. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So uneventful time passes, a couple of hours. You sit and wait, and then you're watching outside with your drone, right?
Drone. Yeah.
Okay. So the drone pings your data console with like a recognition match. And you see on your little display that someone is coming. He's wearing a heavy coat against the rain, got the collar pulled up. He has a hood on from like a hoodie underneath. He has his head down, but he looked up long enough to get a scan of his face, and it pings you, and it's like he's outside. He's on his way in. Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and just put my data pad away and really quickly say, "Look alive, people! We've got incoming."
So the drone follows him to the door. He walks in and starts walking into the central area. He reaches up and he pulls his hood back, and we get a nice clear shot of him now. He looks pretty much the same as he did before. He hasn't aged a day since he was made, but he's got hair now. He's let his hair grow out. He has black hair. It's still pretty short. He's got like fuzz all over his head. One of his eyes is like just grayed over and cataracted, and underneath his skin you can see the kind of grayish like veins of whatever weird like fungal rot you can get from being in here. He has a he's like a mushroom leather like shoulder bag that weighs like pretty heavy. You can see it creasing his shoulder, like the muscles of his shoulder, and it's hanging off of his back. And he pulls the hood back and like wipes some fungal goo off his forehead, and he like looks around, not suspiciously, but lets his eyes adjust, and then starts walking towards one of the elevators.
The way that the elevators are positioned with the rest of the lobby, is it kind of secluded from the rest of basically I'm just trying to ascertain where there's gonna be less people around him. You know,
I mean nowhere for here, because the lobby is like the central, it's like the market square for everyone that lives in this huge building. So there's tons of people around. He probably like, you see him wave to a couple of people as he goes by. And the elevators are the central ring of this interior building. So they go up. So this is where everybody would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the worst place to confront him if you don't want anyone else to see it.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think when he walks in, like you see him, like Nomi, you see him, he like looks right like at you, but he just kind of looks through you. Like he doesn't see you, but you like see him look at you and walk by. He seems to be in a hurry, but hard to tell any more than that.
How many troops did we have? How many troopers?
You have 6.
I don't know if you're gonna allow me to do this, but I did say I wanted to have people posted up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I want it. If you're gonna let me do this, I would have at least 2 troopers on the floor where his residence is.
Oh, like keeping an eye on the door?
In the eventuality that we decide to, Yeah,
that's fair. You like got awesome on that lead roll, so sure.
Okay. So Booker's gonna send a like I'm assuming we all have just comms amongst each other, right?
Yep. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So Booker's gonna like tap his ear, whatever the thing is, and be like,
He's on his way up the elevator. We'll meet you there. Stop him at the elevator once he comes out.
And then that's what we're doing.
Okay, so you see him. You all watch him get into the elevator and begin his ascent to the floor. So we cut to the upper catwalk, and we hear there's like the doors slide open. I think they get stuck halfway, and we hear Dexter Chow be like, "God damn it!" and like gets his hands on it and yanks the thing open, and then he gets grabbed by the two soldiers. And we hard cut there to the group of you. And are you coming up another elevator? Like, where is everybody now that it's like kind of go time?
Yeah, we'd be coming up the elevator as well, following.
Okay. All right. So the group of you are all approaching like directly, or are you taking the same elevator? Like their orders were just to detain this guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess when you get there, he is the sort of new scene is the two soldiers. One of them has their hand on his shoulder. He's on his knees. He has his hands like zip tied behind his back. His bag is lying nearby with all of like he's got a bunch of components and stuff like lying on the ground. And then behind him, faded on the wall, is an enormous poster of a stern-looking face. It's all faded and graffitied over, but it's a stern-looking face, like in a hand pointing, and it says, "Watch out for synths." And it's just like in the background of this shot. And yeah, he's on his knees and he looks scared. He doesn't look like he's resisting. And the group of you are approaching him.
Okay. We're on the level approaching where the officers have detained him, where
Yes,
the troops have detained him. All right. As I'm walking forward, Booker's also gonna come over to the soldiers and be like,
One of you check the bag, search him, make sure he has nothing dangerous on him.
Okay. Yeah. So the one that isn't like holding him in place, I guess when you approach is like he's picked up the bag and is like chucking shit on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Nomi, Booker, Riley, and Jason, you all walk up to this guy.
I'd probably hang back just a little bit, just stay near the elevator that we came out of.
Yeah.
Just hang back a little.
Okay. As we approach, I mean, from his personnel file and all that stuff, we know his name and everything, right?
I mean, he doesn't have a name. His name is Illegal Synthetic 6658.
I didn't know if he had adopted. If we had in his file like that he had adopted a name or whatever.
Yeah, you know from his employee file, he's pretending to be a human being named Dexter Chow.
Yep. Okay. Booker, as he's walking up behind him, I don't know if you allow me to do this, but he's adept. I don't know if it's like something that would be screwed on, but basically I'm putting a silencer on the pistol. If that's possible, or mod enabling.
I mean, it's like it's a laser pistol, so it's already pretty quiet.
Okay. I didn't know that. I'm just trying to eliminate noise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think that there's like a suppressor you can get for a laser pistol.
Yep.
Let me take a look though. We'll take a second. These are the important
Suppress the lasers.
Yeah, I don't want them to be quite so bright and loud.
Well, maybe it's a setting where it's like less powerful but still lethal. You know what I mean? So that way it's
Kill him, but only a little bit.
Yeah. Laser pistols. All right, I'll read the description. So laser pistols and laser rifles are the most common type of energy weapon, though pistols are considerably less energy efficient. Depending on the tech used, they might produce silent, invisible beams of death or noisy, bright-colored streaks of lethal light. So we get to kind of make that call. The phased
unless you tell me that he has an off switch that I can use.
I mean, I think so. Like a laser is like a brief, singular burst of like really intense light. So I think there's probably a flash.
Sure. Yeah.
But probably no sound. There's the sound of like the air, the water vapor in the air, like vaporizing when you fire it because it's super hot, right? So there would probably be like a hiss and a snap, probably as the water like pops, but it wouldn't be like a bright like beam of space laser. Like it's probably pretty subtle. Yeah.
Given
that
a
whine, exactly like a camera flash. There'd be a whine of it charging up, and then you click it, and it would just go and pop.
Yep. I just want to get an idea of how loud and what the effects are.
Yeah, important for understanding.
Yeah. I think we've been operating under the assumption that this isn't the first time Booker has retired a synth. Is there any sort of way to deactivate it with either physical or hacking or whatever?
So every synthetic was built with some kind of visual, verbal, or otherwise like a command structure that they would give you. So they would be like, in an emergency, if you need to like deactivate your synth, use this thing and like flash this pattern of light in their eyes or like say this code phrase. However, most of those have become lost to time and you can't pair them up with their user anymore. So every synth has something like that, but you do not know what illegal synthetic 665A-22X what his turn-off mode is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And it would be reasonable to assume that straight shot to the head would.
Yeah, it will.
take
I mean,
them
a
out.
laser pistol shot through someone's brain, synthetic or not, will fry them.
Okay,
and will
I'm
be
just
dead.
getting these. So this is all stuff that I want to learn for future.
And I mean, I guess that's the question, like for all of you, like how many of these have you been present for? Because you do lots of other law keeping stuff. It isn't just retiring illegal sentience. Is this anybody's first decommissioning? Or have you all seen this before?
My character, like, originally I was like a soldier for House Aquila back in the day. So for me, it's a little bit disturbing for them to like not fight back, because every time I've fought synthetics, it's been. So this is a little bit disturbing to me. So I'm going to turn around and busy myself with some technology or the other, because it doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah, you're looking at your cell phone.
I think this is
Jason's.
Yeah, I think it's his first decommissioning. Like he's mainly been like in simulators and test things. He's a pilot mainly. Like
you wouldn't.
around.
You would have been pretty far from House Fornax's part in the great decommissioning of the synthetics, because like a lot of the furnaces got repurposed, because with all these dead synths, you got to have somewhere to throw the body. But you have been separated from that. You're not that part of the house. So yeah, I don't know that you'd necessarily be that close to this stuff.
So he's kind of like watching curiously, but is also kind of put off. It's like oh man, this is real, you know.
Yeah. What about you, Nomi? Have you witnessed the decommissioning before?
Yeah. I'm just like standing in the hallway, straight backed with my hands folded in front of me. And I have kind of a dark look on my face, but I'm like looking at the synth and just like waiting for it to happen. But I've seen this before.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, follow-up question: have we confirmed that it is a synth? Like, just visually, is there anything that would?
So this is the trick, right? So you are operating on information from HQ that shows this person is a synthetic person. They're not a real person. They're an illegal synthetic. You have matched facial recognition using the Prism database where you found the guy. That's really all you can do. You can, if you had people who were properly trained, you could like get like an 80% accurate like test that yes, this person is not a person. But that's the best you're gonna get with even the test. But right now, what you have, if not certainty, is authority. You can ice this dude, and no legal entity is gonna be like, you probably should have asked nicely first. However, right now he is just like so confused. Like as you walk up, he's saying to these soldiers, like the guy that's throwing shit out of his bag, he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? That's fragile. Please don't. Oh, come on. What? I didn't do anything. My contracts are all up to date. Please." And he sees you, or he sees the group. Are you walking up behind him so he doesn't see you?
I'm walking up behind him. Yeah.
Okay. So he's like, "Come on, man. I've got script, and you can convert that into credit. I'll pay it. It's just in my apartment over there. Come on." And he's like, you can hear him kind of being like, he's confused and upset. And as you walk up, you see from the doorway, you see a woman. Nomi, you recognize her. You see the woman from your vision. You see her coming out, like she's heard him kind of protesting. And she steps out and she's like, she looks and she's like, Dex, what's going on? And she starts walking towards him. So he's on the ground, and Booker, you're walking this way and she's walking that way. So she sees you walking towards him.
Are you saying Nomi's position is closest to the girl or closest to the?
Yeah, I mean, here let's take a look at the map. We'll just
yeah. I'm just trying to get an idea of where people are at in positions.
Yep.
And if they're within earshot or not.
That's fine. We'll just do like a big. So like, if Dex is there, and then there's like soldier, and then like another soldier over here, woman. She's there. And then Greaves is over here, like approaching from this direction.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I don't know. Nomi and Nomi and Jason, where are the two of you?
I'd
Go on
be
out.
behind Greaves.
Okay.
Like Greaves would be between me and Dex.
Yeah. Okay.
There's 2 Greaves. Oh.
So you're back there. Okay, that makes sense.
I wanted to be by the elevator where we first came in. Like I was kind of like hanging back a little bit and kind of doing that thing of if he made a run for it, I was just gonna try and like grab him.
Yeah. So this is the edge, and it's down 80 plus stories from there. And then this is the wall where there are doors to various sort of apartments. And so the elevator would be probably one way or another. Would be you can go this way or you can go that way to an elevator because they're around the ring.
Yeah, I guess we would have all come from the same direction, so I'd probably be on the side closest to Nomi and Greaves then. I just think that's logically where he'd be.
Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. Okay, so you're back here. And then and then where are you, Riley?
I'm gonna be hanging back as well, but like I said, probably facing the other direction. I've busied myself with tinkering on something or the other because this is awkward.
Okay, yeah, where in relation do you want to be to these guys? Like further back or?
Probably yeah, actually not too far away, just like oriented in the opposite direction, if that makes sense. But not too far from Nomi.
We'll put you over here, so you're close-ish if things go really bad. But yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you see this woman come out, and she's got a like an apron on, and she's holding like a towel or something. She's holding something in her arms. She's interrupted in the middle of like cooking, and she's come out, and she's looking at Dex, and she's like, "Dex, what's going on?" And Dex looks up at her, and he's like, he shouts at her. He's like, "Sarika, stay there. Just everything's fine. It's fine, Sarika." And she's looking like on the verge of tears. Like, what's happening? Who's in charge here? What do you do?
We got the one soldier there. The other soldier, I'm gonna motion for the other soldier to be in between Dex and the woman, and if need be, move her back. Instructor, like just get her back in the, into the room.
Okay. So she starts to move towards, or the soldier starts to move towards this woman who we know her name now. Her name is Sarika. And he starts to move there. Dex hears you talk, and he like goes to look over his shoulder, and he's like, "Are you the one in charge? What's happening? What have I done? What am I being arrested for?" And the soldier is he's got his like space MP5, right? And he's putting his hand up like, "All right, ma'am, calm down, just back up." And she's starting to get upset, and Dex is trying to calm her down and he's like, "Sarika, like just go back inside. And the soldier's like, ma'am, and like getting louder. And she's like walking forward and still like kind of getting louder and panicky. So what are you gonna do?
Another question. Does Booker know of any way to, I mean, obviously I feel like it's reasonable to assume that he'd be able to distinguish a synth from not a synth. So tell me what.
I mean, the trick is that you can't, and that's why they're so scary and insidious. There's like very complex protocols to figure out. Now you know that he's a synth because he's a fucking synth because he's in the registry. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Given that, goddamn. Fuck you, Adam.
His face looks sinister right now.
I'm just hi, welcome to the game. This is welcome to Verona. It's an Adam Coble campaign where you have to make hard decisions about difficult choices.
Yep.
So yeah, like I want to know what everybody else is doing. Like we were in the slow-mo moment, right? Of everybody.
Yeah,
like,
it's all slow-mo. Kind of, that's kind of what I'm imagining.
Yeah, what's happening. So I want to know what everybody's like thinking, or if anybody's in the midst of doing anything. So like Riley, you hear the shouting. You're kind of like trying to keep it behind you. Is this the like, okay, just close my eyes till it's over. Eventually I'll hear the like ripping sound of lasers and this will be done.
The women. Yeah.
Like, are you just waiting for this to be over, or are you doing anything else?
Yeah, I look up, but once again, like to me, it's very awkward because every time I've dealt with harming people, they've been trying to harm me back, and this person is not. And so, yeah, I'm gonna stay in my lane, which is not.
Yeah, no, maybe not the best choice
ethically,
ethically, but we've got many more episodes to discuss that. So you're just like, he's not fighting back.
I'm here to work on bots, so I'm just gonna do my engineering stuff.
Okay, Jason, what are you doing?
So I think at this point, like, he's kind of feeling super, like, he doesn't really know what to do. This is beyond his remit, but the hand kind of grabs he's got like a extendable stun baton, like on his little pilot utility belt thing. He's kind of got his hand on it, and he's like stepping, like, he's moving towards Greaves, like trying to move up, but he's not quite sure if he should be acting. Like, he's kind of looking at Greaves like, this is your remit, man. Like, I'm just the driver. Like, and he's,
but you're ready and willing to back him up with your stun baton if you need to.
Okay, so since the other soldier,
so before anything else, so Nomi, I want to give you a chance. So Nomi, the last we saw, are you still just maintaining your stare at Dex, or have you shifted your attention?
Well, when the woman came out and she started freaking out, and I like see that the situation is kind of escalating, I quietly pulled my pistol, but I haven't like aimed it at anything. I'm just holding it because I don't like how this is turning out.
Okay,
but I haven't said anything yet.
All right, so Greaves, what do you do?
Greaves says to the soldier, get her in the apartment. You know, just get her into the thing, and then motions for Argus to come over and assist the soldier, and then says to bring him up and take him.
Okay. So you're like, get her in her apartment.
And as that's happening, as that's happening, as he's doing that, depending on something, I mean, you can tell me if something's interrupting this right now.
So you tell me what you want to do, and I'll let you know if there's any reason you would stop.
No, Booker is saying, synth registry number 665222X. It is. He just goes in accordance with blah 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 blah, the entire like code or whatever.
You're reading in the legalese that
without skipping
everybody around.
He's just saying he's saying what needs to be said, and it's like this is what's happening, and then that's it. That's what's happening.
Yeah, and so you get to the end of it, and you're like, by order of House Crux and Imperial Edict 225A-B, you are officially retired. And then you did it. You said the thing you need to say. And so once he realizes, like partway through, he's like, oh wait, like what are you saying? He's like, no, I'm not. I'm a person. And he's just like screaming, and Serica starts like screaming at him, like, no, don't do it. And then you just blast him.
The idea was to have Argus, Jason, grab him with the soldier, move him out of sight of the lady, and then once he's like that, Booker.
Okay, so Argus, you want to go and pick him up?
Yeah, I guess like I'm kind of like, he's so unsure about what to do, and Greaves is so confident. He's like,
as you're unsure, Greaves is like, do it, Jason, now.
All right, he just grabs him and like holds him to his feet and is just carrying him away.
Booker like points like right there around the corner, like just around, he's falling behind.
Get him out of here.
Fuck, man. Yeah.
This is where the dramatic music is playing as everything's happening.
Okay.
And once we're around the corner and he finishes saying what he's saying.
So before you go to pick him up, let's roll an opposed, Jason, you and the synth. Let's roll an opposed punch test, because he's gonna try to like fight you off, basically.
Okay, is this punch not? Well, because I don't want to punch him. I just want to grab him.
But I mean, punch is like all physical altercation.
Okay.
Because I don't think there's not another like wrestle skill. So punch, all the melee shit falls under punch.
Okay, so punch and strength, right?
Yeah, punch with strength.
No assistance. 7. Okay.
He's a strong boy. All right, so I think this is the thing. So you go to grab him, and I mean he's like, I'm a human, I'm a person, don't do it. And then he snaps the restraints and then throws himself back against you. You get,
as that moment's happening, I would be shooting him.
Yeah, and so you're drawing your gun, and I think what happens here is that the episode, I think the episode ends on like this tableau, right? Of like you bringing your gun up, the whine of the pistol loading. Yeah, so you're like bringing your gun up. Dex has just thrown Argus back, so Argus, you're like falling back in slow motion as Dex snaps the restraints. The soldier is starting to move. Serica like dropping her bundle, and then I think the last thing that we see is a shot of Riley's face, just trying to block out the whole fucking thing, like just being like, nope, just, I'm looking at my robot. I don't want to be a part of this right now. And then we cut to credits, and that's the conclusion of episode 1. Roleplay for
He's
Verona.
a person, is he?
He's certainly screaming, I'm a person.
Snaps handcuffs.
Yeah, he snaps the handcuffs and goes bananas on you.
God, that +3 strength, damn.
He's a strong boy, yeah, because he was genetically engineered to be able to like lift heavy shit and work on the farm. So
this is old Jason's all natural, baby.
I know. Right. As soon as he snapped the restraints, I was like, Jason only has 1 HP. This is not going well.
You haven't lived until you've wrestled a synth to the ground with your bare arms, but you got a baton, man.
Yeah, I do.
So we'll have to resolve all of this business next time.
Nice, awesome.
Yeah, cool. So we didn't talk about this at the beginning of the show because I wanted to do the first one just as like, this is an intro to the world, and we're going to kind of get used to what's going on and set you in your place. We'll talk about the character goals and stuff at the beginning of the next episode. Once we kind of have a little bit more freedom and we've done the initial kind of setup. So we'll talk about what all of your characters' personal goals are, and we'll talk about how experience awarding works and all of that within the game when we get into the next episode. I think that'll do us. Let's do some shout outs. This is the part of the show where if you have not seen or been on one of these, you get to be like, hi, I'm this person. This is where you can find me on the internet. Go and follow me because I'm awesome. And that's what you should do. Max, show them how it's done. Do it, Max.
There you go.
Way.
Damn you, Max.
I'm so scared. My name is GassyMexican. I'm Variety Caster on Twitch and YouTube. Been doing all this for a long while. I'm happy to be doing this show. So excited to finally kick off the first episode. I hope you guys loved it. I love playing character Booker Greaves. And yeah, if you want to find me on the internet, I do all the stuff. It's all down below here. I'm used to it being right here, but it's all down here. Again, we'll see you next time on the show. And yeah, I'll be casting a little bit later. Follow me on the Twitters and all that stuff to know when I go live. Thanks so much for watching.
Yeah, cool.
Amazing.
Thanks, Max. Why don't you go next?
Sweet. I'm AnneMunition. I'm also a variety caster. I do a lot of like first-person shooters, that kind of thing. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I had a great time, and I'm really looking forward to doing more of this. So yeah, thanks to everyone on the show. This is almost spelled right. So follow me on Twitter and Twitch, but without the second N in the munition. You guys know how to spell munition, I hope.
Look, I have a Swedish graphics guy. Okay, he's not very good with the English words, so we'll just
copy and paste, dude.
Look,
all right.
You're preaching to the choir. AnneMunition.
AnneMunition.
Almost. Yeah. So, but I probably won't be streaming tonight, but I normally stream. I probably in the future I will stream after this, but not tonight. So yeah, thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Anne. I gotta say, Anne, I really like, and we'll talk about this more in the post show. I really like your creepy psychic voice. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's toss it all over here to the strongest boy in space, Jason Argus.
Mark, the second strongest.
Yeah, hello. I'm the strongest natural boy in space. How you doing? I'm Mark Humes, also known as Sherlock Humes. You can follow me. I'm most active on Twitter, which they've kindly included down there, which I believe that is all spelt right, so that's all good. I'm also the GM for High Rollers, which is a big D&D stream over on the Yogscast's Twitch. That's every Sunday at 5 p.m. GMT. It's a bunch of us British people doing D&D, which is really cool. Had a super good time. I do not get to play ever, so I am so grateful for being invited on the show and getting to be a player in this. This is so cool. I really love it. I can't wait to play more as Jason. I can't wait for Mex. That's what I'm super hyped for. So looking forward to that. But yeah, really appreciate being invited. Thank you, and it's awesome to play with everyone and come and watch my stuff, I guess.
Yeah, do it. You should watch High Rollers because like the dungeon master voice that North American DMs put on when they're trying to sound like dramatic. That's just what they sound like all the time.
Yeah,
it's just their voice.
Just British voices all the way down.
That's right. And last but not least, cybernetic cinnamon bun, Lamar Riley. Bronzegirl, where can people find you on the internet?
Hi, hello. I'm that bronze girl. I am a full-time variety caster on Twitch, and I do more than play games. I do a lot of tabletop stuff. I talk about comic books a lot, and I have a book club as well because I'm a little bit of a nerd, a little bit of a neckbeard. I had so much fun today, and thank you so much for welcoming me onto this absolutely stellar cast, and I look forward to the next games with you guys. You can find me on Twitter, where, as Adam says, you'll find my inflammatory opinions spewing all over the internet.
Good ones. They're good ones. Cool. Thanks, Bronze Girl. Yeah, give everybody a follow. Pay some special attention to our new folks. Thank you so much for coming. A special thank you to everybody who is participating in the Patreon faction turn game. There are now multi-thousands of you. I got to take a look at your like chaotic New Year's party that happened over the weekend. If you're interested in all of the cool shit that's going on in the background of this game, go to patreon.com/rollplay, and any amount of patronage will get you access to that. We're going to be doing our first faction turn in a couple of weeks, and on Friday on my channel, twitch.tv/Adam Coble, we're going to walk through the mechanisms of the faction turn and set up everybody's assets. So if you're interested in taking part in the bigger world of Far Verona, definitely go check out our patron. You can follow me on Twitter at skinnyghost, which you should do, because I'm going to be talking about this game a lot because I'm just about as obsessed with it as you are right now. Thank you so much for coming, everybody, and making our first episode super cool. If JP has any announcements to make, he'll make them when we're done. That's it for us. We're going to go and record the Patreon post show. We will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.